Welcome to Leadership Legacy Radio, where we inspire you to live your dreams, encourage you to take massive action, and be your authentic and genuine self. We focus on 3 pillars. That's empowering youth, equipping leaders, and enriching marriages so that you can go out and dominate your space.
If you're ready to dominate, you're listening to the right show. This is the Leadership Legacy Radio. Now let's go.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
How you doing? Let us know where you're checking in from. Drop your favorite emoji. You already know what time it is.
That's right. My favorite emoji for today is going to be...
My favorite emoji, drop your emoji. Finger pointing down.
Oh.
Yep.
I like that
Drop
one.
your emoji. How y'all doing tonight?
Hopefully everyone is good.
Drive a little bit more engagement. All right.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about leadership. Talking about one of our, favorite topics, leadership. So we have 3 favorite topics. We talk about leadership. We talk about marriage. And then we talk about youth empowerment, right? So those are the things that we focus on. Those are the things that we do. Those are the things that we love talking about. One of the things that you want to be able to do is to be able to passionately speak to something that you're good at. And be able to relate that message to somebody. So people may call this like an elevator speech. So if somebody was to stop in an elevator and they ask you, what do? What would you say? I equip leaders, enrich marriages, empower youth. You're welcome.
That's
right?
good. And a lot of the knowledge that you have and the things that you're able to quickly and effectively share will definitely save people a lot of time on developing that skill or getting that knowledge when you know that information and you share it with other people. A lot of the information you receive may have been things that you've learned over years and just a long period of time, but you can kind of take all the information and condense it for someone else. And that's when we're operating in our strengths. We talk a lot about not, using your time on things that you may not necessarily be good at. Sometimes it's important to, kind of just have a basic understanding of that area. And then, maybe, what do you call that? Outsourcing it.
Yeah, outsourcing. Yep. All right. So I'm going to just check over here. So oftentimes, we always tell you guys that, we're checking the lives just because sometimes the way that Facebook works is it doesn't tell everybody that you're live right away. So we want to make sure that we are live. And if we are, that way we can kind of see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mom is joining us. Hi, Mom.
All right.
Yep.
So we can see. There we go. Okay, cool. Now I can see that we are live.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there we go. Cool.
Excellent. So today. Oh, she said from Philadelphia via U.S. and Dominican Republic. Arriba. Actually, that's Mexico. So don't do that. All right. So today, whose idea is it or was it?
Oh, wow.
And go ahead.
Nope, that's good. Go.
So whose idea was it? Now, why is this a relevant question? Why is this something that matters? Why is this something that's important to you as a leader? And if you're asking yourself or saying, I'm not a leader, then I would reconsider. You are a leader in every space that you're in. So whether it's on the job, at home, you are always influencing or being influenced. Effective leaders influence, right? They change the environment around them. We talked a little bit about this before, the hashtag and then the thermostat, concept. So you want to be a thermostat. You want to be able to change the environment that you're in. You want to be that dominated energy. So why is it that we're talking about whose idea was it anyway?
Mm-hmm. And I, speaking of that whole concept, whose idea was it anyway, it just, thinking about this, it reminded me of something. Now, you all know, for those of y'all that know us, Christian and I have 3 children, Deontay, Jalen, and Genesis. And Deontay is our oldest. He's 15. Jalen is 13. Genesis is 7. And with these awesome kids and awesome husband of mine, I love celebrating birthdays for them. Like, I love, decorating... I love decorating the house and just making everybody feel special on their birthday. And tomorrow is Christian's birthday. For those of you all that don't know, he's been getting birthday shout outs from Japan because they're 13 or so hours ahead of us. So he's been getting birthday shout outs already. So Christian's birthday is tomorrow. And
you were, Desi.
What did she say?
She was adding on kids yesterday.
Oh, for who?
When she was saying TJ.
Oh, yes, she was. Now listen, like with this passion of mine to just make everybody feel special on their birthday, kind of speaking to my own love language, I always have these grand ideas about what I want.
Thank you, Desi.
What I want the house to look like when that person wakes up, or just making them feel special, right? And usually that's my idea. So we're talking about whose idea was it. Usually that's my idea. And in the past, I would get super frustrated because it was my idea and everybody else wasn't excited about it. Like the kids are like, standing around. I'm like, okay, y'all gonna help me, with, Dad's birthday, or, even with Christian, hey, it's Deontay's birthday, it's Genesis' birthday, but it was my idea. And oftentimes I failed to share my vision. I just wanted it to be, special for them when they woke up. Like Genesis likes waking up to balloons on her ceiling and all over her room, and she looks forward to that. And Genesis shared that with me, and everybody that in my family kind of gives me that vision, and I take that and I run with it. And so I have an idea. And so, like, even with Christian's birthday tomorrow, I have tried to intentionally, hey, Jessica, I tried to intentionally let the kids be a part of that.
Absolutely.
That vision, so that they can help and take part of that and not feel like, okay, well, this is your idea. So, what do you want me to do? How do I include myself in this vision? And that's what we're going to be talking about today, dealing with leadership. If your leaders have a vision, how do you fall into that vision? How do people respond to a vision in their organization, a vision of their leaders, right?
And that's a perfect segue because, when you have an idea as a leader, if you don't involve people, if you have this idea and this is what we're doing and nobody knows what's going on, there's a few things that they can do. The first thing is attack it, right? Yeah. They're going to attack your idea because they're like, whoa. It's not mine. You never ask for feedback. Mm-hmm. They start to criticize it and start to potentially sabotage the idea. Mm-hmm. Now, Sharita gave you a great example of an idea. So she loves to decorate for everybody. She loves to kind of like do these things to make people feel special. What's important about that is how she casts that vision. Mm-hmm. If she's able to kind of like tell the kids, and she's done a better job of this, I want everybody to feel special. Mm-hmm. I want everybody to feel loved when they wake up in the morning. That comes across differently than, hey, let's decorate these balloons, let's put this up, let's do this, let's go do that. Mm-hmm. If you do that, people tend to kind of be on the defense, like, whoa, what are we doing? What's going on? Yeah. This is crazy. And so thinking about an idea at work, you may have had a great idea. In your mind, it's a great idea. Right. But because you are the only person thinking about that idea, sometimes what tends to happen is you're missing a few components to make it a great idea. So in your mind, it's a great idea, but maybe it's just a good idea. And this is not for you to get offended. This is just reality. It's a good idea. If you want to have success, involve people in your vision. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't, they're gonna attack it. So leaders, just like followers, don't like change. Inherently, we don't like change unless it's my idea. So if somebody has an idea, what I encourage you guys to do is make sure that, one, you get the vision, right? You get clarity as to what that is. Once you're able to do that, you're able to help that leader. Because even though you may not buy into the vision, you have bought into the leader. And sometimes it's important, and the reason we ask whose idea is it, is because, for example, if 4 of us are working and everybody loves Sharita and she brings the idea, it's well received. Whose idea is it? Sharita. So she brought this idea. Everybody's on board because they like her as a leader. So for me, it's important because if I bring the idea, it may not be as well received. So understanding that you need to get people to buy into the vision is important, and making sure that they get included in the decision process and have some buy-in. Because if you come in and you just give people stuff, sometimes they're like, what are we doing? Where are we going? What's going on?
Yeah.
And they struggle with that.
Yeah, because oftentimes it's more clear in your mind and to you than it is to everybody else. I don't know how many times I've, tried to share certain things, not only with Christian, but just overall. And you probably experienced that yourself, where, you're giving part of, this vision. You're giving part of, what you're thinking about, and just automatically assuming like everybody else knows all those little details that we may forget to share with people. So
Absolutely.
Sometimes that's what happens with leaders, or when people are sharing their ideas or sharing a vision with someone.
Absolutely. So another reason somebody may attack your vision is not necessarily because they don't believe in the vision, is because they don't believe in the person that's casting the vision. So understanding that is important. So if you are in a position where you know what the organization needs, the leader isn't, necessarily liked because of maybe something that they've done in the past, maybe they've not included people in the vision. Your job in the middle of the pack, your job in that organization is to help people buy into the vision, by you supporting and say, hey guys, we got to gather around and help this become a success, because ultimately this is going to help the organization, not this individual. So you got to remove that individual out of the situation in your mind and focus on the vision, the bigger vision, right? So when you find out whose idea is it, the first thing people tend to do is attack it. Another thing that people tend to do, and these are negative things that people may do, is they tend to ignore it. Right? So people tend to ignore a vision because it's not mine. Going back to it's not being their idea. Because it's not their idea, they're like, you know what? Maybe it's not cool. Maybe I don't need to get involved. Or it's almost like you send an email. Hey, I need everybody to come down and do this thing. And because it wasn't your idea, you don't support it. One of the biggest things that I've told people is, regardless if you are involved, regardless if it's your decision, your vision, it's important that you support people. And here is why. If you want people to support you, you have to support people. What does it look like if I say, hey, let's go work out, and I don't show up? Everybody's working out. They're looking for the leader, and I'm not there. I'm nowhere to be seen. What does that look like? Does it look like you truly mean what you said? Hey, let's go have fun, but I don't show up. And it's important because the one time that you have an idea and you're not the leader, and you try to cast this vision and you put it out there, people are not going to come support you because you didn't support them. So it's important that if you do not support people's vision, that you, even if you don't agree, go out and support them.
Yes.
Because as you do that, you will realize that as you support them, again, back to that law of reciprocity, people are going to want to support you. And it's important because we are better together. I can do good by myself, but we can do great together.
Absolutely. And I've seen that so many times. You'll have leadership that will say, hey, let's make sure that, we have good morale in the unit. Let's go out. We're having, this event going on this date, and, we want everybody there. And then you get there and they're not there. Yes. You know what I mean? That speaks volumes. If the leadership that's there, you know what I mean, they're not supporting that idea. They have to practice, you know what I mean, what they're expecting other people to do as well.
And another reason people ignore the vision the casting of the vision, or maybe that leader, is because what tends to happen sometimes is we tend to feel like we need to hold all the information. Like if I give too much information, it's no longer my idea. And if it's not my idea, I don't get the credit. Guess what? You don't deserve the credit. Because the credit should be due on to the person that gave you the gift and the vision, not to yourself. So most of the time, a great leader gives away credit. A great leader takes the blame. So for me, if something is going on, I try to cast as much out, give as much information out, so that you can know exactly what I would love to accomplish, what I want it to look like. It needs to be so vivid in your mind that you start to kind of go, okay, I'm getting cold because you got like icicles over here, and you got like a iceberg over here, and you got ice seats over here. Man, it's a little bit chilly in here. You have to paint that picture for people so that they can catch the vision. Because when they catch the vision, they can transform it into reality. Unfortunately, there are people that are going to do that. They will withhold information. They will not show up to events. And they want everybody to support them. So there's a comment in here. Jessica put, you sound like you are watching over the organization I work for. And what's funny is, unfortunately, it's not just your organization. No. And this is why we talk about these topics, because our passion, our vision, and our dream is to equip leaders. There are so many people out there that have the right mindset, have the right capabilities, and have the potential to make a difference, but they just don't know how. Sometimes they feel stuck. Sometimes they feel like they're not in a position to make a difference, but guess what? You are. You can make a difference right where you are. Everything that we do, everything that we talk about, we have all of these programs that we can help people with. But you know what? We're not going to be effective if we are the world's best kept secret. My mentor and friend tells me that all the time. Christian, you cannot be the world's best kept secret. So guess what? Our Facebook Lives are intended and designed to help us with that. We want to help people, but people have to first know, like, and trust us, and understand that what we bring is value. We're going to bring these dynamic tools to your organization to help them. Absolutely. Because we've been there. We've done that. We've lived through it. We've gone through it. Sometimes we're going through it. So as you go through some of these things, if you have questions, PM us. Let us know. Put it in the comments. Let us know what it is that you're struggling with so that we can help you. We have tools that can help you just take your and make a difference right where you are. Absolutely. And so, so we talked about attacking it. We talked about ignoring it.
And going back to, ignoring it, when you talked about, you gave that example of somebody withholding that information because they're afraid to kind of share that credit, with someone else. And it's so important. So going back to the example of birthdays, you know what I mean? Like my love and my passion to make people feel special on their birthdays, it was so encouraging to share, that with our children and to see what ideas they had to make their dad to make their dad feel special, to make their brother or sister feel special, to just make it better. Like you said, like they had some ideas that I wouldn't have come up with. As much as I'm passionate about it, guess what? There's people that are just as passionate. There's people that are more creative and, different ideas. So using their gifts and leveraging their strengths to help even with your vision is so important. Like people can make it even better when you share that vision, with them, and don't feel like you got to try to take all the credit, to yourself. And
absolutely,
you're the only one gonna be celebrating. If you try to take and keep it over in the corner by yourself, it's no fun. You know what I mean? When you're celebrating all by yourself, you get an accomplishment. We give you credit. You can get the credit, and you're having a party of one. You know what I mean? Like that's not fun.
Yeah, it's like So one of the things that I was just thinking about as you were saying that is one of the struggles that we have is that as leaders, so this happened to me as a young leader. I had all of these great ideas. Well, let me take it back. What I thought was a great idea, right? It was a good idea. It was like mediocre idea at best, right? However, people feel like if I share my idea and then somebody takes it, that they will get the credit, right? Yeah. Okay, that's true. People can do that at times.
And people have.
And people have, right?
People have done that.
And sometimes what will happen is like, you know, I'll give an idea, like Jessica said, and they won't acknowledge it. Mm-hmm. What you want to be mindful of in these different instances, like if somebody takes credit or if somebody ignores it, is there's going to come a time where the idea is going to come back up. It's going to resurface. And when it resurfaces, it's going to be hard.
Yes.
And you need to be humble.
Yeah.
And you need to allow them to take the idea. And here is why. What you're going to do is by the time that idea comes around, you're going to have an even better idea or be able to add more value to it. So your job is going to be able to equip that individual and say, what a great idea. And what you're going to do is you're going to put them in a position where they're going to be very, very uncomfortable.
They're going to be uncomfortable.
Because now you're going to say, that is a great idea.
Tell me more.
Tell me more.
Where did that idea stem from? You know what I mean? Why are you so passionate about that?
That's a great question.
Yes, because they're not going to be able to explain anything related to that vision, that idea, that event, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Like and that will be your segue
Yep.
to be able to elevate that idea to a whole new level.
And people will know.
And people will know where that idea came from. I promise you, it's happened. And it continues to happen because people want to be acknowledged. So they're going to wait, they're going to come back, and they're going to go, oh, so it wasn't your idea to begin with. And you don't even have to try to do that. Your job, your goal, your focus is like what we talked about last week when we talked about frustration. Add value to them. Make them look so good that when they turn around, the first thing they do is look for you. Like, where's my right hand? Where's my right hand? Like every time, I can't do it without you. Because every time they bring something up, their great idea, that was your original idea, you add value to it.
Yeah.
And hey, that's a great job.
And you're adding value to people as a means of, your own, like we talked about before, like your own sanity, your own inner peace. So you're not operating in, just frustration and, just discord constantly. Oftentimes I tell our kids, like, you know what? People are going to make themselves look bad all by themselves. Like, you do not need to help them out. Let them get in trouble by themselves. Let them look bad by themselves. You don't need to help them out. You can literally sit back and be quiet and let that person make themselves look foolish all by themselves. Like, you don't need to help. We don't have to go and say, oh, well, yes, so-and-so did this and this and that. I can guarantee you they are very capable of making themselves look foolish all by themselves without us, adding fuel to the fire. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna burn.
and that's why it's critical that you understand. And I love this quote. It says, "Championing an idea is difficult when you didn't create it."
Yes.
Like if you didn't make it, you can't fire it up. You can't get behind it. So when they come up with this great idea,
they're gonna be looking for you.
They can't go, woo! I got this, or or trying to like stiff arm people like, hey, you can't come around this because this is my idea. They can't do that because they don't know. They don't have the mindset. They don't have the skill set. They don't have the tool set.
Absolutely.
Right? So we talked about attacking it. We talked about ignoring it. Now let's talk about like maybe a better, still not the best thing, but like being able to adapt the idea. So these are 3 critical components that you have to understand that people do when it comes to a vision, right? People will either attack it, they'll ignore it, or they'll adopt it.
And these are just 3 that we're going over today. We'll get into a little bit.
We'll get into a little bit more details, on our next leadership episode, right? And so with this one, what people are trying to do is they're trying to find a way to align with the idea, trying to get behind it, right? So say for example, I want to make sure that everybody at work understands that there's a right now we're going through a phase where we're trying to phase out smoking, right? And the smokers get a break. However, it seems unfair that the people that don't smoke don't get breaks. And so my policy is everybody gets the same amount of breaks. So whether you're a smoker or you're not a smoker, we all get equal amounts of breaks. Well, I have somebody that comes to me and say, I don't agree with that. Okay, so what I would do is instead of allowing them to cause a scene, I will pull them behind closed doors and we will have a conversation as to why they don't agree. So why do you not agree that everybody should have equal amount of breaks? Well, if they're not smoking, what are they doing? Well, if you're smoking, what are you doing? I mean, like, really? Like, my concern is that it needs to be fair and equitable across the way. So if somebody's smoking and they get a 15-minute break, then this person that doesn't smoke can get a 15 break, do whatever they want. I don't care. Go watch Facebook. I don't care. It needs to be fair. However, if you don't agree with the policy, there's two things that you can do. You can leave or you can get in line. Right? And so what we want to do is we want to make sure that it's fair. So if you don't agree with that policy, then we need to come up with a better solution. We don't smoke during work. That way nobody gets breaks. Oh, that's not cool. Okay, cool. So then you have to align with that policy because you can't do for one and not for the other. That's like having kids. I can't do one for Deontay but not for Jalen and Genesis. It just doesn't work that way. You know, so if you have employees, if you are a leader, if you see policies like that, it's important for you to identify some of these gaps because these are some of the areas that you're going to have contention. This is where people are going to struggle and then butt heads because, oh, so-and-so gets a break and they smoke, but I don't get a break. And I got to work through lunch. Right? Make sure it's fair. Make sure everybody adopts the policy and aligns with it. That's critical because, you know, we often have these policies and these things that don't line up with being fair across the board. You know, another thing you can do is like learn to find a way that whatever it is that policy is, that vision is, that it fuels the organization's success. Yeah. So if I'm struggling, right, with breaks, right, going back to the breaks and the smoking example, and we have a hard time with people getting tasks done, a fair policy would be everybody doesn't get breaks. You get a lunchtime, and then during the time you come in to lunchtime, there's no breaks. You can smoke at lunchtime, and then from lunchtime till we leave, no breaks. That way it's fair and it adds value to the organization. If people say, hey, it's unfair, blah, 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 listen, it's a no smoking policy. So you can smoke on your lunch break, but you don't smoke in between work hours. Wow. Yeah. That way it's adding value to the organization. It's helping the organization, and you're not being unfair or inequitable, right? You have to be able to do these things because as leaders, you're going to have to make tough decisions. Not every decision that you make is going to be liked. Not every decision that you make is going to be a great one. So you have to be able to stand firm with your decisions. You have to be able to stand behind your decisions. And then when people ask questions, you got to be able to validate your decisions.
Absolutely. And it's so important that you make the right decision, the decision that's going to be best for the organization overall. So you know, using that smoking example, that was such a good example. Like, you know, you may fall in the category of someone that smokes. And if that smoke break is going to be taken away, you still have to be on the side of what's right for the organization. Not just, okay, I'm going to agree with it only because I don't smoke.
Or when it benefits me.
Only when it benefits me. And so many, you know, leaders and just people overall, they agree with something because it benefits them. No, you know what? If it's right, it's right. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. It's wrong no matter what. You know what I mean? Like I'm reminded of just this past year, like when Jalen was in basketball season, we had a parent that just kind of like went completely bonkers about an issue that she felt like was unfair. And at the beginning of the season, it wasn't a problem. But when the beginning of the season, when they beat our team, it wasn't a problem. It wasn't a problem for us, and it wasn't a problem for them. Now, when they lost against us, the more recent game, I mean, she was just bananas. Like, she was going off about, oh, this isn't fair. Like, this, no, none of the circumstances have changed, but it didn't benefit you. So now it's a problem. Like, a problem isn't a problem until it's your problem.
That is, wow. That is a lesson in itself.
Yeah, whole nother day.
A problem isn't a problem until it's your problem. Now, listen, when you don't buy into the vision, production will be low. Just know that.
Yeah.
If you don't buy into the vision and you don't align with the vision, production will be low. However, if you buy into the vision and you align with the vision, production will be high and success will be inevitable. So it's super important that you understand that. As we continue to grow in this leadership journey, we continue to get very, very good at what we do. And you understand that you need to be good at what you do, but be great at who you are. Be authentic, be yourself, be your very best self. Because every day you have an opportunity to impact your organization. And it can be as simple as adding value to that organization. It can be very simple as supporting a vision. It can be simple as aligning with the vision. You have the power to make a difference right where you are. I love coming on the lives. We enjoy doing the lives, but it's not, we don't come on out here just to say things. We want to equip you to take action. Time for sitting on the sidelines is over. You will go further in life if you take action. You need to take massive actions. You need to take steps towards your vision, your dream. The way that you do that is as soon as you learn something from our lives, go implement it. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till the next day. Implement it. Write down what you're going to do and go execute. Right? Everything that you learn it for a reason. You fail, you learn, you implement. You learn, you grow, you implement. You have to implement. The most successful people didn't learn and then go back home. They executed. They learned and then they implemented. So it's your turn.
Absolutely. And before we close, if you are a leader, yourself, and you have that responsibility to cast that vision, it's so important that you make sure that your vision is clear, you make sure your vision is creative, and that you continuously let people know what that vision is. That is so important. Like, if you think about a teacher in a classroom, like, she has to get creative with those students, because guess what? You may have some students that are visual learners. You may have some students that are hands-on. You may have some students that are, audio learners. So you have to get creative with it, and you have to continuously go over that vision, because you're going to have people that are going to be coming in and out. You're going to have people that are going to go on vacation and they're going to come back and they're going to completely forget everything that they were supposed to do. So it's super important that you're constantly reinforcing those things and reminding people, casting that vision. Like, it should be everywhere. People should know exactly what we're doing. Like, it shouldn't be a question, because I know every day, as soon as we walk in here, I know every day what our values are in our family, because you know what? It's not going to change based on the situation or based on the circumstance. Our vision is going to be the same no matter what. So make sure your vision is clear, make sure it's creative, and make sure it's continual. Also, if you're a leader, it's important to know that when you are wanting to motivate and inspire people to kind of adopt that vision and follow that vision, that you motivate them in the way where they feel like, you know what, this cannot happen without me, versus having that mentality of letting people know, well, whether or not you
get on board or not,
like, it's gonna happen. Like, who's motivated by that? Who's motivated by knowing that, you know what, you're gonna get the job done, you're gonna do it with or without me? But when you tell somebody, like, hey, you know what, we cannot do this without you, we don't want to do this without you. Like, this would not happen. We would not be able to do this on a day-to-day basis if it was not for what you're doing and for what you do in this organization. So letting people know that what they're doing is adding value to the vision. This is how this helps and add value to the vision. This is
Yeah.
how this contributes to what we do on a day-to-day basis. It's so important, no matter what that person is doing. If it's cleaning the bathrooms, if it's, you know, the CEO or the organization, the top leader, whoever, it's important that they have an understanding that how what they're doing contributes to the ultimate vision. Like, we cannot do this if this isn't done. We cannot do this if what you're doing isn't done right. So you're important to our organization. We value you.
Yes.
We value what you do, and we don't want to do this without you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that brings up a great point. So I share this story a lot, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I don't know if I've shared it from this angle. So when I first came in the military, one of the things that I enjoyed was my job. I absolutely loved my job. Now, unfortunately, I had to change jobs. But when I came in the military, I knew what I brought to the fight. I knew that my job directly impacted the Air Force mission. I put planes in the air. I knew it. I breathed it. I lived it. I lived it. I knew exactly what I did.
Right.
And so it was so easy for me to get up and go, I'm making a difference.
Yeah.
And then I switched over to medical. And although I got the job that I wanted, it was like eyeballs. Man, right? Like what do eyeballs do, right?
How do they contribute to this
How do they
mission?
contribute to the mission? But when you have a leader that can show you the greatness that you have in you and what you do and how it makes a difference,
Yes.
you can change the world. So I started thinking, how can I get the people around me to buy into this the way that I bought into maintenance? So I started thinking, listen, the planes, they can't go in the air if those mechanics can't see.
Or the pilots can't see.
Oh, the pilots can't put the bombs on target if they can't see. Brilliant. Oh man, check this out. Everybody that goes to eat at the cafeteria or at one of the places on base, if the people that cook can't see, you're going to get some salty food. Who has the best job in the Air Force? This guy. But I had to consistently understand that what I do was important, because guess what? I may not be putting $1 million in the air, but I maximize the human weapon system every single day.
That's so good.
My job is more important than any job because of what I do. If you can't see, you can't function. Our slogan for our career field, for my job, is if you can't see them, you can't shoot them. So guess what? It's important that you have two eyes to see.
Yeah.
But it's more important that you understand what you bring to the fight every day. Whether you are a medic, whether you are a police officer, whether you are a storyteller, what you do is important. That story can inspire somebody to become the next astronaut, to become the next president. But it's only going to happen if you share your story.
Absolutely.
And you have to know the value that you bring every day. So like Sharita said, you're valuable. You're extremely valuable. And you need to tell everybody around you that they are valued, because they are. Unfortunately, we've gotten to the point that if you're not the president, if you're not the CEO, if you're not this person, that you're not important. Listen, VIP is everybody. I tell my people every day, everybody that walks through that door is a VIP. You treat everybody like a VIP. You stand up for everybody. You greet everybody. You acknowledge everybody. You have fun with everybody. You treat everybody like if they're special. They're the last person and the first person you'll ever meet. Because when you do that, people will see that they're valued and they will value you.
And in order for you to feel that way and get that kind of mindset and concept about, you know, what you do now versus what you did before when you first joined the military, you probably had to remind yourself of that often. You know what I mean? Because it's so easy to forget. That's why it's important to do it, you know,
Every
continually. You know, it's not just a one-time thing. Okay, yes, this is important. This is valuable. This is how I add value to the vision. But you have to remind yourself of why you're doing it,
Yes.
what you're doing, and how important it is on a regular, continual basis in order to keep you going, in order to keep you motivated and striving in that direction.
To stay fired up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so as we bring this in for a landing, hey, Nikki, we want to let you guys know you are valued. Make sure, if you're a leader, that you cast the vision consistently. Make sure you involve people in the vision. Because if you don't, that vision will be attacked, will be ignored, but seldom be adopted. And that's what we talked about tonight. Those 3 components of your vision. As a leader, how you need to include people in your vision so that you can be successful. All right? Now, as always, you guys already know, we want you to go out and dominate your space.